Hello pre-service teachers. This video is for week 11 and this is where I'm going to explain your directions for writing your social studies lesson plan for the first time that we're doing this. Please note that I am reducing the assignments. By this point, you have seen the reading comprehension lesson plan, which was the great Fuzz frenzy and teaching my students to ask questions. If you watched last week's videos, you saw the 4 C's and photo circle analysis video, and then you also saw the kindness rock mapping activity, which was a social studies skill. Normally we write all 3 of those lesson plans together as a set, but because I'm not with you and things can get kind of confusing when I'm not there to answer all your questions face to face, I only want you to do one. So this time I want you to choose between a reading comprehension lesson or a social studies skill lesson. For the reading comprehension option, I want you to refer back to your social studies book hunt. You need to choose one of the text from the book hunt and choose the reading comprehension teak that you already paired with that book. This lesson is going to be built explicitly around teaching the reading comprehension skill, just like I did with the Great Fuzz Frenzy and teaching those students to ask questions before, during, and after the text. You can also include social studies activities in the notes at the bottom of your lesson plan, or if you have time, you might be able to start to get to those in your lesson. Your mentor for this is the Great Fuzz Frenzy. That one's going to be in the Week 9 folder. And remember, my objective was to teach my students how to ask questions during reading. My entire lesson focused on that, but I wove in citizenship. My follow-up lessons, which you do not have to write, focused on the citizenship aspect of the prairie dogs. That's where we did the prairie dog cutout with the sentence stems, I can be a good citizen by, and the good citizen sort, where you had to sort in the T-chart with good citizen or needs to try harder. Those would be listed at the bottom of the reading comprehension lesson. You are not going to write up an individual lesson for both of those. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2 is your social studies skills option. You can choose any skill from the social studies skills strand. They stay the same throughout the grade level, and they're having students look at things like conversations, interviews, music, pictures, symbols, electronic media, maps, literature, artifacts. You have to teach your students to sequence and categorize information. You have to teach your students how to communicate in oral, visual, and written forms. And you have to teach your students problem-solving skills. So you're not going to do all of those. That's multiple days worth, if not a month's worth of lesson. You're going to choose one of those skills to focus on. And you can do 17A or 17B. You don't have to do 17A, B, and C. That's too much. I want you to design a lesson that teaches your students that skill. This should connect to another social studies teak. So students are learning content in connection with the literacy skill. You do not have to do mapping like I did. Okay? You can do mapping, but you're not allowed to do a lesson plan where you're mapping for kindness rocks. Do something else with mapping. Okay? So as a group, you're going to write that lesson. Remember that you can use office.com or your Google Drive to asynchronously work on that. I highly recommend having at least one small meeting with your group. You can do that through Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, FaceTime, and that kind of thing. I want you to have that prepared by Wednesday, April 8th, because I want you to schedule a conferencing appointment with me for that day. The appointment's going to be very short. It's just like I would do in class, where I move table to table and sit with you. So it's going to last about maybe 10 minutes. It all depends on how much help you need. And to schedule that, you're going to go to the week 11 folder. You'll see my booked in link, and you'll see my availability for those days. If I need to schedule more time slots, I can easily do that. Just let me know if they're out. Then have one group member submit the lesson plan to the Dropbox and it will populate to everybody else's. If you have questions before your conference, please feel free to email, call, or text me. Stay healthy, guys. See you next video.